pretty day today. I haven't seen a single fly yet.
Birdies are out hunting now.
Yeah.
I even messed around in some of this water earlier. Little birdie baths.
Mm-hmm. The blue jays like to bathe in this right here.
Yeah.
You'll hear them doing this little thing. You ever heard them do it?
Mm-hmm.
It's had me freaked out the first time because I was like, what the fuck is making that noise? The little birdie bath. Little birdie bath. Gotta love it. Good morning.
Still not supposed to rain, just cloudy.
Yeah. Nice to catch you early. Oh, yeah. Well, I do these usually twice a day, morning and evening. I think I'm more predictable in the mornings. -2 today with rain coming in the next hour. The fuck are you, bro? Scandinavia? Alberta. Oh, okay. Canuckistan. Got it. Got it. Canuckistan. Yeah, I wouldn't pay attention to numbers at all if I were you, Phoebes. You seem, I mean, I understand it's a good metric and stuff, but like, let the numbers be what the numbers are. Judge the health of your streams by how much fun you had doing it. Something I was thinking about, I was pondering it last night as I was winding my brain down to sleep. It's like, why do I do this so much? Why do I feel a drive to do this? And, part of it is my work. Part of it is like, keep the instrument sharp. I know that, there were a couple of years there where I hardly ever did these. And my voice basically went to shit during that time. I mean, I could barely keep my voice long enough to get through a show. So I got to keep that instrument pumping. But I really started thinking about like, that's not, why are you driven to it? And I found the answer last night. It's because this forces me to live in the moment to a certain extent. Sometimes I'll go off here or there on my own little thing, but for the most part, this is grounding me in the moment.
It's pushing you away from just escaping into a game all day or something.
Now, one of the things that's taught in Buddhism is when you seek happiness from events, it's like fireworks, right? In your life, it happens. There's a brief, flickering, ultimately fleeting moment of happiness from this event that has happened to you, and then nothing, right? And so the idea of seeking happiness and finding happiness being grounded in the moment, I think that's part of it. I think my hugest struggle is my brain's propensity to wander to the future, to wander to the past. And if you think about it, it is kind of an absurd way to live like you live torturing yourself in the moment with the past and with the future. And a lot of people have their heads so deep in both of those that they forget the moment. I wish I could remember it. There's a kind of a monologue that Al Pacino's character in Glengarry Glen Ross gives to this guy he's trying to sell a piece of shitty land to. And he talks about chasing after material things, chasing after sexual experiences, chasing after money. And he says, I'd give all of that away for the moment. What happened to the moment? He's trying to convince this guy to make an impulsive decision, right? But he's playing on what he perceives as this guy's kind of beaten down working man, married guy mentality.
Oh, Al Pacino with his baby at 84 years old.
Well, that
He's
guy,
living in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, he's maybe a little too much in the moment. It's happening now. That's the fucked up thing about it is, well, maybe not fucked up, but that's the fleeting thing about it is that it's happening now and it's happened. And you can focus on that fleeting moment of being present, the gift of awareness, right? A vast field of openness in the moment. All of your senses attuned to give your body immediate feedback on the world around you and your place in it. That's a beautiful thing. But you can't hold on to it. It's not just about regret, though, right? It's not just about living in the past due to your regret. I mean, everybody in here has probably known somebody that lives in the glory of their past, right? Always referring to some moment that happened to them that brought them to this place, right? They've decided that was the peak of their life. Lap. Lap, lap, lap. I want a lap. You stay. Cockabur. Cockabur. You got a whole leaf in your fur. It's a big old cockabur. I'm probably just gonna have to trim that out. What are these leaves that are so sticky that they're just like implanting themselves in your fur? I'm sorry. I know. I know it's not a nice feeling. They're so sticky. Why are these leaves so sticky? Yeah, I'm probably just gonna have to trim your little paw later.
Yeah.
Get much of this leaf out, because you just got so much leaf. So much leaf in your paw. Sticky leaf.
Must have gotten in there last night. We didn't see it.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
That'll help Mom get it out later.
Yeah, the comments are whack today, but it just is what it is, man. Early on in these, the wave of people as the notifications are going out, and then a wave of people just skibbity scrolling and landing on my ass. It takes a while for the people to figure out that like this is just not a place that's going to positively react to them attempting to be clever. We're not talking politics today, brother. We ain't shifting gears into Kamala Harris. I don't care. And that's just the God's honest truth, bro. I care what the aggregate of people spend their time doing and spend their political capital doing. But as far as who's about to be president, I don't give a fuck. I literally don't give a fuck. Wow. And I just really got abandoned by my father. Good. Wo shi huan, wo chong chong shi huan shi, wo shi chong chong, no, wo shi huan chong chong shi chao shi. I think that's proper. And I just really got abandoned by my father. So learning how to treat a woman, it was harder. Is he mad? Where did he go? I just got up, bro. I went and got some weed so that when I finish this little joint, I can roll another one this morning because it's a nice morning. So we're about to get stoned. That's the way it works. You guys see Terrifier 3? Nope. I haven't even seen Terrifier 1. I've avoided it because people are just gore porn. I'm not a big fan of like torture porn type movies. Like Hostel. Saw. It just ain't my thing. You cough like I do from smoking. It just is what it is, bro. Blah. Wake up. You're smoking straight filter? Do we want to shut the fuck up now? Or are we going to be giving any more advice today on the show? Or are you finna shut up while you're in my fucking stream? No, you're just going to keep trying to land it? You're just going to keep trying to land it. You'll shut the fuck up? Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Sit down and learn. If you didn't know, then you shouldn't have popped your fucking mouth. Right? Damn, geez. What, are you used to walking up to people and trying to critique them in public? How'd you expect I was gonna fucking react to that? Damn, why so angry? Same reason why if somebody walked up in your backyard to give you a critique you didn't ask for. At least I don't wear glasses. Good one. Good one. If I was in a fucking third grade classroom, that one would have fucking leveled the room out. That one definitely would have brought the fucking roof down on our heads, bro. You just straight up called me Four Eyes, bro. You called me Four Eyes, homie. You're whack as fuck, bro. You're not even a tenth as clever as your ass thinks you are. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people find that repellent about me, especially during these streams. I meet disrespect with disrespect. I give what I get, right? So if somebody comes up in here with the intention of giving me, a 44-year-old man, advice he never asked for that turns out to be fucking completely unneeded, or some sort of attempted critique, I meet disrespect with disrespect. I come straight off the top. See, one of the most enforced rules on my stream is, and this is, you bring the energy that you would bring if you came into my backyard and I invited you to have a seat. Because that's exactly what this is. I'm sitting in my backyard. This is my free time. You're invited to fucking sit as long as you're not retarded. You bring a different energy. You bring a special energy that you only have for anonymous internet interaction in here. This ain't the show for you. This ain't the show for you. I own this bitch. There's a plenty of motherfuckers out there that are just hungry and thirsty for you to be commenting whatever dumb shit you're saying out there. They need you. I don't fucking need you. So get that little level of interaction out your head. Why do some people thrive on hate? It's not even really hate. It's just antagonism. Anonymous, consequence-free antagonism is what people thrive on. And they're 100% not used to getting it popped right back in their fucking face. You see how that dude belly rolled earlier? Came all up in here, you just suck and filter, bro. And I show him that I've got like good fucking 3/4 of an inch of joint left. And he's still, right? He doubled down again? You doubled down again? After you just got popped in the mouth? That would never happen in public. He would never even bring that energy out of his front door. The only person in his life that might ever see that energy is his mom when she's trying to lecture him about something and he's not trying to hear it. But you know what? She birthed his ass. She has to hear that shit. My ass? I'm about as disconnected as I can be from your ass. I'm not your daddy. I'm not your friend. Got it? Not your big brother. I'm not your wise unk. People just want a reaction, I think. Yeah, I like giving people a reaction they didn't bank on. You gotta wonder, how many times are you really gonna want to trigger a reaction of having about 125 people laughing at you simultaneously for looking like a retard? That there's only a small number of people for which that is going to be a positive interaction that they're going to seek out multiple times. Some of them I just ignore. But every once in a blue moon, one of these motherfuckers that's just throwing shit out. No, people do know it though. People know it, except online. On the internet, people don't know it because there's no immediate consequence to you being out of pocket on the internet. And so every pussy in the world runs to the internet to be out of pocket because they would never, ever, ever bring that kind of brolic energy into the streets. And so that's what they're addicted to. They're pussies who are addicted to feeling like they're not pussies. That's about as kind as I can be with that. Bro. Yeah. For real. Bro. So look at this motherfucker with the OMG with 10 G's right there. That motherfucker's really out there driving, probably. Feel better the next time you got to get in your car and you got family members that you love in the car with you. That motherfucker's one of the people you're going to have to dodge. Yeah. I mean, it really is almost kind of a binary. You either tolerate disrespect or you don't, right? I don't. There she is. Is this just a convo stream? Yeah. Good morning, sir. You have a pretty mouth. See what I mean? That's a motherfucker that would eat, dude, never in this motherfucker's life has he been impolite in public. That's what I'm talking about. It's sad. These motherfuckers need self-expression so much that they gotta hide 8 layers deep behind a pseudonym with no face to say the type of shit they want to say out in public. That dude brought that in public, bro. It wouldn't be a week before he got slapped up. What is this about? We're just hanging out, man. Dealing with wave after wave after wave of sub-Gump IQ. Just kind of like parsing it out. I guess, you know, there's a lot of people in here. I'll explain the philosophy behind that. In the movie Forrest Gump, we find out that Forrest Gump has a 75 IQ. If I put what you're doing into the context of Forrest Gump and it sounds like something so retarded that even he wouldn't do it, you can't chat up in here, player. So, for example, Mom always said I should spend hours a day trolling around on the internet. Sub-Gump, bro. Mom always said, if you see a dude with a beard, make sure you mention a children's book like Harry Potter. Say, are you Hagrid? Or even better, are you Santa Claus? It just never would happen, bro. Like, even Gump knew that that was a retarded waste of time. Sub-Gump, bro. 75 IQ required to ride this ride. Right? Imagine a cartoon chicken. Foghorn Leghorn is standing there with his hand out going like, whoa, partner, if you ain't at least this smart, you can't be chatting up in here. You know, and measure yourself up, man. If you, look, dude, if you don't measure up to Gump, you gotta go. Sorry, I'm not an educator, bro. I don't have the fucking skills to help you learn how to not be retarded, so you're just gonna have to go. It's a low bar, though. Forrest Gump was straight up retarded. Right? 75 IQ, man. Let me tell you remind you a little something. His mom had to fuck the principal, so he wasn't sent to the retarded class. His mom had to, the principal, so that he didn't have to ride the short bus the rest of his life, all right? It's a low bar. It's a low bar. Was there a Mr. Gump, Mrs. Gump? He's on vacation. Think about it, dude. If you're like 25 and still like sitting at home in a virgin incel, Gump got laid by 25. You're sub-Gump. You're sub-Gump, dude. If you're incelling it up, dude, even Gump tripped and fell into some pussy before he was 25 years old. Sub-Gump. Performing below Gump. I don't know, Paradoxical Eel. I've got a doctor's appointment next week, and I'll let you guys know, I guess, after that what my new weight is. I'm expecting it's going to be below 300. I started at 367. The last time I weighed in was about 3 months ago, and I weighed in at 321. And I suspect that I've lost around 20 pounds in the last 3 months, give or take. So I'm expecting to be somewhere around like 290, something like that. I got a booger? I don't see any boogers. You lying about the boogers. There's no boogers. Look, I'm clean. Seems judgmental to me. We aren't all smart like you. Oh, and you're smart and you visit a doctor. Your doctor wants to keep you unhealthy, so you keep coming back. Mom always said that you ought to rant and rave and never use punctuation. Mom always said that a run-on sentence is the best kind of sentence. You gotta go. That shit was 100% sub-Gump. Mom always said, don't trust a doctor. What strain you smoking on? I stay steady smoking on that Gary Payton. 29% call it Gary Payton. Cali. Big Cali. How's the taste? Tastes like getting real high, real quick. What's your favorite impression to do? I don't know. I think my best impression is probably Gollum. Like, I do a wild Gollum. I sound just like Gollum. Let's see. Stupid fat little hobbitses. Stupid fat little hobbitses. They stole it. They stole the brushes. Yeah! I mean, that's pretty fucking good, right? I think that's probably my most dead-on impersonation. Naughty little fly, why does it cry? Caught in a web, soon he'll be eaten. And you do the scene where he insults Sam. I can't remember what he says. I can't remember what he says. Smoking on Gary Payton, dude. Got it, baby. 我常常学韩国常识，超市。我常常学韩国超市。不对，不对。Wrong. 不对，不对。Wrong, motherfucker. I love that. You know more than one language? Oui. Absolument. Je parle souvent avec mes amis francophones. 我喜欢美国零食。No, I don't speak any Deutsche. I really don't speak any language other than English fluently. But I can speak a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of French, and I'm learning Mandarin. 我的国我是长长。I'm not a huge fan of dough smell. Huh? What are we even talking? Why are you off in apple fritter land, homeboy? What did our ancestors do without internet or Google? Well, I am that ancestor. Okay, about half of my life, pretty much the internet was useless. So, well, maybe not half. My life's pretty long now, but you know, a good. I look. I have lots of memories from the pre-internet times. We had this crazy thing, right? It was called, get this, Encyclopedia Britannica, right? And you bought these, or you went down to the library and you read them, right? And in them, you could it was like Google, but in a book. You could go like, hey, what's the average flight speed of an African swallow? You know, and it'll tell you, you can find that. Now, maybe not everything, it was limited, but yeah, people used to use reference materials and stuff. They used to go like to this thing called the library, where a bunch of books and reference materials were housed, and they would hunt up the information that they needed, Mike Hunt's got to go. He's stupid. I should have known he was dumb, but, I try and give people the benefit of the doubt when they're not immediately apparently sub-Gump, but he's way sub-Gump. He got to go. Before TV, people used to visit each other and talk in order to pass time. Yeah, write letters, right? Not to bring it back to something I was talking about earlier, but I think that one of the reasons why I was inclined towards performance and why I think musicians make music and artists make art is there's an immediacy to art. Art is about the moment. It's about your reaction to it, the first time you see it, the second time you see it. It's about living in the moment of that artistic expression. And artists, musicians, actors, painters, people that are pursuing some artistic output are really just giving us all an excuse to live in the moment, even if only for a few moments. I like that. I like that, Holmes. Do you think it's freaky how fast technology has evolved in a short time, Paul? Do I think it's freaky? Do I think it's freaky? No. I guess I don't think it's freaky. I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. More technology. Let's do it faster. Accelerationism. I need to go put salt in this because the flies have awoken. I like the sub-Gump term. It infers Forrest Gump is smart. Yeah, he is. All you have to do, right, and anybody can do sub-Gump. Even somebody that's sub-Gump can, I think, figure it out enough to do Gump, right? You've seen the movie. You know what Forrest Gump got into. Just try and imagine Forrest Gump narrating what the other person is doing. If it makes no sense that Forrest Gump would know better than to do that, that person is immediately identified as sub-Gump. So, for example, I'm back on my 5th alt to say the N-word in somebody's chat. Gump would never. Sub-Gump, right? That's all you have to do, is try and imagine Gump doing what this whatever person is doing, right? And if it's beneath Gump, then they are sub-Gump. That's the term, right? No, IQ is functionally like worthless in measuring actual human intelligence, right? It's good at measuring Western intelligence based on a presupposition that you received a generally decent Western education, right? So it is a very narrow microscope into somebody's intelligence. Yep. Intelligence as measured simply by IQ. Now, here's the thing. IQ is a good measurer of extremes. So if you have a low IQ noticeably versus the average person, then you can make certain presuppositions. And if you have a high IQ versus the average person, you can make certain presuppositions, right? So it's a better measure of extremes than it is an indicator of individual intelligence. What was your strongest subject in school? Yeah, English. English, writing, anything around reading, writing, all the liberal arts. History, I knocked history out of the park. Anything that just required me to read and comprehend, I was good. I could put autopilot on in those classes. I never even had to try at them. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, math, I barely made it. I was barely able to get to the level of math achievement in high school that was required for me to avail myself of the performing arts scholarship that I won. I won a full ride scholarship at Fresno State University. I barely fucking squeaked it in, getting far enough in math to even be able to take that scholarship and use it. So if you were to measure my intelligence simply by my skill in math, you would think I was functionally retarded, right? If that's what we measured, how good are you at doing long division? How good are you at solving complex algebraic equations? I would be functionally stunted. It's all right, Ghoul. It happens. Mathematics is weird because some people it comes naturally to, and some, like myself, aren't that great, but I'm great with other stuff. Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, people have different aptitudes. That's why IQ, like I said, is a blunt, narrow microscopic tool for looking at somebody's intelligence in the shadow of Western education and Western knowledge, right? It's better as a broad tool, and it's a better as an identifier of extremes. So somebody with an IQ below 70 as an adult is considered to be intellectually impaired, right? And it's a good sign of intellectual impairment if somebody scores that low on the spectrum. And then on the converse side, showing the other extreme, somebody with like a 120 IQ is considered to be functionally a genius. And there are certain presuppositions you can make about a person in that IQ range. Most of us, and myself included, sit right in that like 90 to 100 kind of area. That's about your average Western IQ. I know that I'm in there somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, via IQ, you could probably find some numbers. But yeah, it really isn't something. What really needs to be looked at is kind of like we need to get down to the microcosm, right? So yeah, IQ level is here. What's reading comprehension, right? Like how, and those numbers are staggeringly bad. We talk about them a lot here because nobody ever fucking talks about them. 60% of American adults can't read above a 6th grade level, and many of them read below a 6th grade level. A huge majority of those people, or like a strong minority of those people, read below a 4th grade level. So we've got like, that's awful, right? Because when you're talking about reading, that's part of human communication, right? You can't functionally understand the language you use without learning to write it, to read it, to communicate in it properly. All of those things are dependent on your ability to read, your ability to comprehend reading. And we're at it's better than a coin flip that you run into somebody that can't read better than a 6th grader as an adult. Think about this. 60% of adults in America read at or below a 6th grade level. The average contract for a lease for an apartment is written at an 8th grade level. %60 of people can't really comprehend what they're signing if they read a contract, is what that says, in case you weren't following. Can we be worried now? Are modern people used to instant gratification, Paul, and is that a bad thing? No, it's not instant gratification. It's instant micro gratification. It's called dopamine looping, and it's the reason why you continuously scroll Twitter or Reddit or some gotcha game that you're into or whatever it is that keeps you fascinated and on your phone all fucking day. It's called dopamine looping. So yeah, it's instant micro gratification, instant tiny little bursts of dopamine into your system that keep you desperate for more. That's why you're on fucking TikTok all day going, duh, duh, duh. That's why you're on Instagram all day going, you know, you're just looking for that little tiny fucking dopamine hit. And your brain gets addicted to that loop. You can look it up. Look up dopamine looping. I'm as guilty as everybody else. I mean, it's part of modern technology that actually it's designed to take advantage of that dopamine loop. Yeah. So it's not even real gratification. It's what I was talking about earlier. You know, those of you that were here earlier that have stuck with it. You know, the looking for gratification from the world out there leads to these tiny little fireworks, right? These tiny little moments that happen. You get a little burst of joy and then they're gone and they don't create a memory of any kind. It's not like you're going to remember, oh, dude, I remember on that crazy Friday back in October in 2024 when I was looking at TikTok and I saw that bitch crack an egg the wrong way. You know, it was wild. You're never going to do that, bro. You're never going to tell somebody a story about a day that you spent scrolling on TikTok, right? So you're not doing anything, you're not creating anything, memory or otherwise. So it's just little bursts of micro gratification. It's like a string of you ever set off a string of firecrackers? You light the end, right? You got the big string of firecrackers all tied together on the same fuse, right? You light it, you step back and it goes right, and everybody goes woo, and then it's over, and that little burst of dopamine passes, and you're hoping somebody lights another fucking firecracker, right? That's what you're doing all day, right? So it's not even true gratification. If look, if people could find true gratification doom scrolling the internet, then I'd be all for it. But I've never heard a single person that's done it. In fact, I hear more and more about people who have lost their whole fucking identity to it, their whole lives. You think you would make a good teacher? No. I think my patience runs thin, and I'm too reactionary to be a good teacher. Well, long form content can be deceiving though, Sophie. If we're being really fucking honest here, long form content can be super deceptive, right? Because it itself can be edited to be exactly the kind of dopamine looping micro content just sandwiched together to keep you like, and then this happened. Blah, blah, blah. People are editing for this now. So even long form content can just be time spent lighting the fuse on a big string of firecrackers, right? I agree with you that you're more apt to find something worth considering in long form content. But don't lose yourself to the fucking game that just because a video is long that it's packed filled with fucking great information. People understand now that people like these like video essays to fall asleep to. Dude, it happens to me all the time. I love falling asleep to video essays about old video games where people have just autistically gone through some old video game and documented every piece of lore and every quirk and every different option and blah, 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 right? And there will be these videos that are like 8 hours long, and I'll click on it and I'll get like 5 minutes in and I'm like, this person's not saying anything. It's literally just like wrote facts about this and they're playing music from it and probably showing visuals, but I'm just listening. And I'm just like, there's nothing going on here, right? But there's 8 hours of this nothing. And some of it, quite frankly, I'm starting to wonder if it's even a person.
Yeah, there's more and more of those AI shorts for sure.
Well, I'm saying there's like AI long form shit.
Yeah, probably.
Does every Bob and Joe and their mom want to be a YouTuber nowadays, Paul? And is it hard to make it on YouTube? Yeah. And yeah, I guess.
I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't really make it a part of my goal. And if I did, I would make it like a little side goal, make it fun. Because if you make it, you make it. But like, YouTube is, you want to make money on YouTube routinely enough to where you could like quit your job and just do this. You better know some people. That's, number one. You better know somebody who can put you on and who is looking to put people on. Because getting that leg up on YouTube, like one of the reasons I can do this is because I've been doing it it's coming out, it'll be 20 years in like 2026. So
you were in on the ground floor and you made a connection with someone that got decently big.
yeah. And I rode that wave into the ability that I was able to just quit my job and just do this for a living, and I'd still do this for a living. Um, you can't really angle for that.
And there's some people, like, where they did do it pretty solo, but they were, like, fucking going hard, working full time.
I mean, yeah.
Full time again.
You really got to risk it for a biscuit. And
Yeah.
some of that, like hard work, is something you have to apply over years in order to get talented enough to be a figure that people even want to watch. No matter how much money you're spending on your crazy videos, if you're not a personality that people care to buy into, nobody's going to watch you. Right? And so that, I don't know how you skip that. I really don't think that there is a way to skip that line. And so, like, if you really dig down into, well, Paul, how do you do what you do for a living then? It's like, I've been doing what I'm doing right now my whole fucking life, literally. Since I was 6 years old, I've been trying to tell stories to people. I've been engaging in conversations with people, and I've been trying to understand people and myself through the medium of free-form conversation, not deliberately, but it's just something that fascinated me from a very young age. I grew up around a lot of big-mouthed, long-winded, storytelling motherfuckers, and I'm one of those, right? And so I just happened, before the internet even was a twinkle in the public's eye, to really start as a child being immersed in something that I use every day here, right? And then I availed myself of what were honestly some pretty lucky options for me. Like, I was born in a pretty shitty rural town, but there just happened to be this like mecca of performing arts in this tiny little town because of this one teacher who was the director of the drama department, who had been there for fucking 20 years at the time I came into her class, that just literally elevated this tiny little cow town to a state and nationwide threat when it came to like theater competitions and shit. We had talent on talent, and she was just brilliant. And so she threw me headfirst into the world of like performing on stage. And then that led me to the more esoteric kind of parts of performing arts, like commedia dell'arte, stage combat, improvisation most of all. If there's a microcosm of acting that I fell in love with, it's the improvisational arts. And it's probably what I'm best at as well. I would imagine, if I was being really objective about my acting abilities and stuff. But
you also gotta have a somewhat pleasant voice. Like, people aren't gonna listen to you if you sound annoying.
Well, okay. So here's another aspect of this. Everybody is capable of having a pleasant voice.
Yeah.
Vocal training is a real thing, right? So like trans people do it.
Yeah.
Trans folks have, a lot of them will go through vocal training to sound either more masculine or more feminine, right? And with time and training and exercising your vocal cords and learning different ways of speaking, people can sound profoundly different than they sound. I just happen to have been born with a giant instrument when it comes to my voice.
Well, you also did conscious effort of
I did.
your own voice.
I did, but I came to the game with a loud, boisterous voice.
Yeah.
It was one of the things that carried me in theater. My teacher would always use me as an example. She says, Paul, everything Paul says, even when he's just talking to me when we're in between rehearsal, from that stage, bounces off the back of this room and hits him. He can hear the echo. If you can't hear your voice coming off the back wall, I can't hear what you're saying. That was never a problem with me. In fact, honestly, like in my personal life, it's a problem that my volume level is tinged so up. Like, I'm considered to be a loud fucking person. And you've got to, like, I'm sure you as a quiet person had to modulate your expectations living with me.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
Yeah, there's definitely times you're louder than others. Like, if you're doing anything in your office on the mic, you're louder than if we're just sitting next to each other talking.
Yeah. Well, that performance environment kicks me up a notch. Like out here, it's more conversational. In there, when I'm on my headphones and I got no noise canceling headphones, I can't hear a fucking peep from the outside world when those cans are on my head, and so my voice is isolated, and I modulate super hard off of that. I need that feedback in my ears. I could not do what I do without hearing my own voice immediately. The immediate feedback of a monitor.
Yeah, but even out here, like sometimes I can't hear you out here, and sometimes I can.
Yeah, it depends, right? But I have really poor inside voice modulation. I really do. And part of that is just hearing problems. Like I've got damaged ears for sure. I've really abused my ears at a time before, like, hearing protection really wasn't something that they built into audiophile equipment. And my parents were both audiophiles and had, like 1970s analog tube radios and big stack speakers, and you plug a fucking pair of monitor headphones in and you were getting full fucking audio right to your eardrum. And that's what when they upgraded to a digital system in the 80s, I got that 70s dinosaur that would zero volume regulate. You could literally destroy your ears if you wanted with it by cranking it all the way up. And so, that's what I listened to music on. And so my hearing is bad. So I'm loud probably because I don't hear my own voice internally as well as I should. I wouldn't erase any genre of music. Music is pure wu-wei. Music is so immediate and accessible and in the moment. It's pure wu-wei. I was watching a podcast where a guy was talking about this last night. He was talking about a lot of this, like the stuff I've been saying today. A lot of it I pulled from him. The idea of art being an immediate, kind of in the moment, creative force. Why I would be drawn to this situation, like sitting in front of a small group of people and just talking to you guys for hours and hours and hours, right? The true all modern music comes from the blues. I would say modern American music is rooted in the blues. But the blues itself is, kind of like a mixed art form, right? So what happened for the blues to be created, the blues are kind of like an outcropping of slavery, honestly. What happened is African people were brought to America to work as slaves. They heard this kind of like rich European tradition of folk music. They brought with them their tradition and their kind of like Africanized rhythms and stuff like that, right? And they used those twin influences plus the irreplaceable influence of their pretty pitiful lot in life to create a fundament in music, right? A new art form. An art form that was expressive and emotionally accessible. It wasn't mathematically perfect and created to be, it just wasn't. It was meant to have these gaps and flaws in it. Your voice was meant to break. You were meant to sing about hardship, not glory, because a lot of music that was being played back then was glorifying God, country, right? This was about glorifying the suffering. It was about sharing the story of your suffering with everyone else in a relatable way. And it's a fundament, right? So you create that, and from that, all modern American music has sprung, right? There's a direct trace. You just name any, right? Name any modern American music art form. right? And it's all informed by the blues. You got jazz, you've got rock and roll, you've got hip hop, you've got the fusion of those things, right? You've got all these like micro genres that fuse all of this. You got country music, which may be honestly the music, the American musical genre that remains closest to blues as a fundamental. Yeah, I've listened to Kraftwerk. I have no idea if it was the first techno ever. I mean, some of the first techno ever was created, to my knowledge, on a Moog synthesizer by, oh man, what was her name? A trans woman. She did work for Stanley Kubrick. Oh, what was her name? Somebody will give me her name. Somebody will look it up. But yeah, that may be the invention of modern techno music or electronic EDM kind of stuff. Yeah, she did work for Stanley Kubrick. She did the Shining soundtrack. The boom 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. That big, yeah, Wendy Carlos. There you go. That big Moog sound. She was one of the first people. You know, an interesting counterpoint to that was when you talk about modern experimental techno music and stuff. Basquiat was also kind of like a pioneer of that. What's up, Paul? Thanks for 3 onion nuggets this week. Fans eating good right now. Well, I mean, one was a makeup, though, because you guys got kind of screwed out of an onion nuggets because TJ's internet died. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, it's been a, bro, once tonight is done, I'm a happy boy because I can just, waiter, I demand a 3rd order of onion nuggets. You shall get it. Tonight, you shall have it. Your plate will be filled with steaming, piping hot onion nuggets. Garçon, my onion nuggets. Woshi Juan, onion nuggets. Dai haola. Tai haola. Tai haola. Who's that guy that comments after your streams, puts timestamps? Cloud Massacre. Yeah. I oftentimes don't ever go back and look, but I always try and like heart. I really appreciate that person's work. You know, because I don't pay them anything. They don't watch every stream, but when they do, they go and timestamp it up, and those are very nice. All right. I'm going to go in. I'll see you guys later today, I guess.